Support Name Explain on Patreon for ad-free videos, exclusive podcasts and blog posts, and to help choose what names get explained. Click the link in the description. The reason I love etymology so much is due to the sense of excitement and fascination it can install in people. Sometimes I hear a word origin so incredible it just makes me super excited. It can really make my day. I will never get bored of telling people that the word fence is a shortening of defence, or that the Old Zealand to the nation of New Zealand is just an area of the Netherlands. I've been fortunate enough to build a career out of sharing fun facts with you all, and while most of the etymologies and stories I share with you all hopefully make you go, gosh, that is interesting, that unfortunately can't be the case for every word on our planet. Sometimes when you hear the etymology / meaning of a word, it won't fill you with excitement or wonder. Instead, it might just make your eyes roll. And with the selection of words we are looking into today, that is most certainly the case, as the selection of words we are looking into today are known as tautological place names. Tautological is quite the impressive sounding word. It's the adjective form of tautology. This word comes from Greek and can break down into the first part meaning the same and the latter part meaning saying. So the word can be seen as meaning saying the same / to say the same. This should give you a better idea as to what exactly a tautological place name is. I've also seen them referred to as double place names and less flatteringly called redundant place names. They are different however to reduplicated place names, which are very popular in Australia with the likes of Wangi Wangi in New South Wales. Those types of names can be covered another time. Like reduplicated names however, tautological names usually do consist of two words, two different looking words however, but in a tautological place name, despite the words looking different, they actually mean the same thing, just in different languages or in different terms. Tautological place names can give us the impression of being exciting or unique at face value, though once you dig into them, your eyes will start rolling, as they're usually just a word for the type of geographic feature it is, just in a different language. A great example is with the HATCHIE River in the USA. HATCHIE, that's an exciting word, isn't it? I wonder what on earth it could mean. Is it the name of some ancient tribal chief who lived in the land and had the river named after him? Or maybe it relates to hatchet, the type of axe, and relates to a battle that happened here involving these axes? Well, no. HATCHIE simply means river in Muskegon languages, so the name HATCHIE River actually translates into just river. This is a prime example of a tautological place name. Are your eyes rolling yet? However, tautological place names don't have to be the exact same word twice over. Sometimes other words can be thrown into the mix when the names are being translated. Take the river Avonmore in Ireland. Avonmore translates into meaning big river, so the full name of River Avonmore translates into River Big River. Tautological names do apply to more than just rivers, I promise. They're just great examples of them. And these two examples of HATCHIE and Avonmore help give us a greater understanding as to why tautological place names are so present on our planet. These dumb names seem to be something of a byproduct of the English language's global domination, as if English have simply invaded these other names from other languages. It's no secret that English is a very popular language. It's the third largest language when just counting native speakers, and the largest language when including everyone who is able to speak it. There's roughly 1.132 billion English speakers on the planet. Wikipedia lists English as being the official language of 67 countries and 27 non-sovereign entities, whatever that means. It's also an official language of the UN, EU, and the lingua franca of many global communities. If it exists, it's most likely available in English. Not bad for a language that came into being on a tiny island in the Atlantic Ocean. The abundance of English across our planet has meant that some of the weirder features of English have become commonplace in other parts of the world too. And while some of the stranger bits of English have been somewhat eradicated with the likes of American English, a dumb feature of English toponymies has seemingly remained. It seems that the done thing when forming a place name in English, especially for natural features, is to add the word for the type of feature to the start or end of the unique established name. Take the river that runs through London in example. While it is known as just the Thames, it is also commonly called the River Thames, or say with the names of mountains. We can refer to them as just Everest or Kilimanjaro. More often often than not, however, we add mount to the start of their name. Why we do this, however, in English and other languages, I'm not too sure. This is just my theory I need to stress, is that it came about for navigation reasons. Imagine navigating the ancient world before we had technology like phones, sat-navs, and even maybe maps. If someone just said to you, to get to where you need to go, just walk north of the Thames, you may be like, what on earth is a Thames? There's a chance that this proper noun may not have been in your vocabulary. You'd have no phone to Google what a Thames is and no map to cross-reference the word Thames on. So instead, by referring to the Thames specifically as what it is, a river, and calling it the River Thames, it might help with switching on the light bulb in your brain. You'd more likely have the common noun of river in your vocabulary than you would Thames. You may even have seen the Thames before, but just didn't know that people were using this unique word to describe it. The name itself is your map. It's your guiding point. Adding what type of geographic feature something is to its name back when navigating a world not universally understood makes things much more easier. Though once again, I have to stress that's just my own theory. I'm more than happy to hear any other ideas you guys might have. Thames doesn't actually mean river in some ancient tongue, however, so despite using it as an example so much, it's not actually a tautological place name. Though, as this word forming element of adding the word for the type of feature it is to the start or end of the feature's name has become a thing, it means that when the English language started sticking its fingers into other parts of the world, tautological place names came along for the journey. So if a place already had a name / word in its native tongue, it meant that in English, the word for whatever the thing was added to the start or end of it, simply because that's how the English language rolls. Like with the HATCHIE River as mentioned earlier, thus we have English to thank for many of these dumb, somewhat invasive tautological place names around the world. However, this isn't the only way we ended up with tautological place names. It might sound weird, but sometimes these names come about simply as a coincidence, due to being named after someone who shares their name with the thing being named after them. Imagine if someone named Sally Lake was having a lake named after them. It could end up with the tautological name of Lake Lake. That's just a silly example I made up. However, a bridge named Outerbridge, named after Eugenius Harvey Outerbridge, and Hall building named after Henry Foss Hall are real examples. These also shows that names don't need to be exactly the same for it to be considered tautological. Sometimes you just need to describe similar features, like a hall in a building. Another example of one like this is Hill Mountain in Wales. And another reason words like river, mountain, or lake get added to the names of places, whether they be tautological or not, is to help differentiate them from somewhere that has the same name. Often the name of a feature is shared with the name of its surrounding area, like the Ohio River in Ohio. It makes sense to add river to the end of the name, so people know you're talking about the river and not the state as a whole. And funnily enough, Ohio River is in fact a tautological place name. Ohio means Great River in Iroquoian, so Ohio River very sillily means Great River. And while rivers have been the main focus so far, tautological place names are present across a huge variety of places on our planet, from natural landmarks to man-made structures like settlements. We even have a country with a tautological place name. I guess this is the part of the video that stops being informative and is just me sharing some of my favourites of these silly names, though perhaps that's why most of you clicked on this video to begin with. I wonder if I shared a timestamp earlier in this video so you viewers could jump straight to this point. Let me know if I did. And I know I've talked to death about rivers in this video, but I just want to share a few more. While we mentioned the river AVONMORE, which simply means river, big river, we also have river AVONBEG, also an island, which means river, small river. An interesting one is the USA with the SCHUYLKIL River. This word comes from Dutch and means hidden river, so when we add river to the end of its name, it means hidden river. Though most interestingly, we have Mekong River that runs across Southeast Asia. The first part of the name Mekong, the Me part, comes from Thai and means river. However, the latter Kong part of the name comes from Austronesian root and also means river. So Mekong unto itself means river. So when we add river to the end of Mekong and call it the Mekong River, we are actually saying river. Like I said, These are very silly names. Carrying on with non-river based water features, we have Laguna Lake in the USA, which means lake / lagoon lake. There's also a lake by the same name in the Philippines too. This makes sense as both these parts of the world were once under Spanish rule. So this means that the Spanish used their generic word for the body of water as a name, and then the English just added their generic word for body of water after the Spanish word. The USA is also home to LOCHMERE Lake, which translates into meaning lake. The Welsh TAL-Y-LLYN Lake means end of the lake, and Airforce Waterfall in Scotland is a mixture of Scottish Gaelic, Norse and English, though when it's fully translated into English it means waterfall. For mountains and hills we have the likes of Mount Oyama in Japan, which means Mount Big Mountain. Pendle Hill in England means hill. There's also Torpenhow in England, which is a hill, and this word is thought to mean hill. So if we call it Torpenhow Hill, it means hill. And New Zealand has the aptly named Summit Peak, which are both different words for the exact same thing, the top of a mountain. We also have islands too, like the Kiwi Motu Island, with Motu being the Maori word for island, so it's called Island. And the Isle of Sheppey in England. Sheppey means Sheep Island, so the full name means Island of Sheep Island. There's also human-made structures too. We have plenty of avenue roads and street roads across the planet, though the one I really enjoy is NAPTON on the Hill here in England. NAPTON means settlement on the hill, so this name means settlement on the hill. And yes, we have an entire nation with a tautological name as mentioned, that being the small nation of East Timor. This nation is on the east side of an island called Timor, hence the name. However, Timor Island unto itself is rather easternly anyway, so Timor actually means east too, so the nation's name translates into meaning east. This was of course mentioned in my Islands of Indonesia video, where I hinted towards making this very video, so I guess things have come full circle. Anyway, that's just a small selection of tautological place names. I'm sure you can find more for yourself as Wikipedia and other sites have whole lists of them. Let me know your favourite ones down in the comments below. And while these names are pretty dumb and stupid once you start to unravel them, they are nevertheless a stark reminder of the impact that the English language has had on our planet, and all the dumb, invasive quirks that come with it. So, as an Englishman, I just want to say, sorry about that. Tautological place names were suggested by Kevin Iger, and thanks to their suggestion, they will now be honoured as Name Explain's patron saint of tautological place names. Do you have a good idea for somewhere that's name could be covered in a Name Explain video? If so, then please consider donating on Patreon. Just $1 a month helps keep the channel running and earns you a weekly chance to suggest somewhere to be turned into a video, and you too could be a Name Explain Patreon saint. Thank you to all my patrons who support Name Explain on a monthly basis. Patreon is vital to Name Explain, and donating just $2 a month allows you to enjoy ad-free videos and bonus Patreon exclusive content. It also allows you to help choose what names get explained in upcoming videos, and gets your name here with all these awesome people. Thank you so much for all the support you guys give Name Explain. Hello all, and thank you so much for reaching the end of the video. Check out another video and subscribe to stay in the loop on all things Name Explain. You can find me on Twitter, I'm at NameExplainYT. On Instagram, I'm also NameExplainYT, and on Facebook, just search Name Explain. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and once again, thank you all so much.